Hey, Rob here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be installing Stoptech stainless steel brake lines on an E46. And before we get started, remember, drop a comment below if you like what you're seeing. If there's anything else that you want to see, I'll try and make a video on that too. So like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Okay, so as you see here, we got the brake line, the flex line here coming up to the hard line, and that runs down below the control arm and right up underneath the axle to the back of the caliper down here. So we're gonna need a 14 mil to take this off, to take the flex line off down here, and I have a 7 mil Allen key or Allen socket to take the sliders out. This may be different for you. These are aftermarket calipers, OEM replacement. It's a 10 mil on the other side because it's a different brand caliper, so that's all going to depend on what company you have and whether it's original or not, so that may be different. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take these two bolts off, we're going to drop this off, crack the 14 mil, and then you're going to have to undo the caliper from the line. And before we get into all of that, I'm gonna spray this with some penetrating fluid because it's quite rusty. You gotta be very careful not to damage the line, which is already beginning to swell, as you can see here. So hopefully we can get it off without damaging the line, but we'll see. Now with our 14 mil, we're gonna take this flex line off. What I got a water bottle with a hole punched in the top because it's gonna take a minute to break the line loose on the other end. I'm still waiting for the penetrating fluid to do its thing. So I got a hole about big enough to stick the end of the flex line in, and that way I can kind of keep things clean, and I'll let it drain into here until it stops and then work on the other end of the line. And we'll just let that drain. You know what, we're gonna bring it over. There we go. So I had some trouble getting this nut to break free. I was looking at cutting the hard line back underneath the car and replacing both hard lines, which I don't want to do right now because it will be a lot easier to follow the direct route, factory route, with the rear end dropped and the gas tank down, which I didn't plan on doing until next year, well, in the winter. So I was able to crack it free. All my wrenches just slipped on the head, but I was able to crack it free with vice grips. And you want to use a line wrench if you can. The nut is kind of stripped. I have everything to repair it if I need to. I ordered some fittings and unions, so once it's free, any wrench is fine, but in the beginning, a line wrench is highly recommended. The fact that this was already stripped, I guess kind of really doesn't matter what you're using. The problem will be getting it tight enough when I tighten it back down. I just don't like I'm not sure about putting a new fitting on this end just due to how rusty the line is. If anything, if I do a new line, or if I do a new fitting, I will be cutting this line back underneath the car and putting a union in and putting some stainless line in. I do plan on redoing all of the lines front to back in stainless, but for now, that was supposed to be a job for next winter. Okay, there we go. Of course, this is rusted too, so. There we go. And there we have it. So now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Like I mentioned before, these are going to be different from side to side because they were two different aftermarket companies. And remember to release the caliper before you loosen everything off, but it should be fine. There we go. And again, with our 14. through a bottle so you can catch what drains. Not that I'm going to use it, but I don't want to make a mess. Tried to break this one free yet. And yeah, it's gonna slip. So I can't even get a grip with the vice grips because it just falls apart. And so new game plan, I'm gonna have to repair this side for sure. There is some room room for a union up underneath here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take out the bolt for the shock at the bottom of the knuckle. I'm gonna drop this assembly down, take the spring out. That'll give me access up underneath. And whether I have to cut this with a grinder, just take that cut right along the top of this, cut that nut out, chop this off. You know, I might even be able to get a union on here, or sorry, put a new fitting down on here, but I doubt it. Likely I'm gonna be going probably about a foot down the line, put a union up on the body there, and remake just this section down here. So that's what we're gonna do. Here with the 18mm socket, and take the lower shock bolt out. Make sure you have a jack underneath the rotor. Now we have room. You can pull the coil out. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. So this line comes up here and follows around the back of the spring mount here. So I should have enough room right there to throw a union in for now. We gotta get this off. Unfortunately, even with vice grips, I can't get it off. So I'm gonna have to cut it. There's brake line number 2. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for, we'll unpack the Stoptech brake lines, do a small review, then we'll get them in. Well, then we'll get this line situated, get the new lines installed. Okay, so these are the lines that we've taken out. The reason I'm taking them out, one, rubber lines suck. They wear, they dry, they crack. And my particular reason is when I drop the subframe, I put some vice grips on them too tight and I crimp the line, which is fine because I planned on doing stainless steel lines anyways. I have them on the front already from when I got the car. They were cracked and I repaired them. The rears were still fine. What we got here, Stoptech stainless steel brake line. These are relatively inexpensive. They're less than $200, and we'll open these up and take a look. I'm a big fan of Stoptech lines. I had them on my Civics. I have, obviously, like I said, I've put them on the front of the Beamer here. They're very good quality lines. Stainless steel, they won't corrode, they won't dry crack or anything. And as well, they give you a stiffer pedal feel. I cannot confirm that that is true or not. I haven't noticed, anytime I've installed them, I really haven't noticed a difference in braking. Not to say that it doesn't help having the stiffer line with less fluctuation as you hit the brakes. And there's a nice close-up. Be sure you're ordering the right ones because there are different there's different models depending on your car. This is what I have for a 2001 E46 convertible 330, and it also comes with new nipples for your brake caliper for the bleed nipple. So yeah, all in all, these are great products. Always recommend them. DOT certified. Let's get into, we're gonna have to repair that brake line. We're gonna have to put a new fitting on it, and I'm gonna reuse fittings that came off of a ABS unit. They're the same fittings. I have fittings that I ordered, and of course Amazon, they're supposed to be here a week or two ago and they just shipped. Now I'm kind of suspecting that they're not even going to show up. So yeah, we're just gonna reuse some old fittings that I have, and let's get that line fixed up so we can install these brake lines. So I wasn't able to do a flare down at the bottom here, so I've cut it back up here and I'll put a union in. What I'm gonna do, I've got this flare tool here. Pretty simple. You slide it through, spin another nut in on this side, and it does the joint nice and clean. I had a tool before that just wasn't working, so got this and it does really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna put a flare on the end of this one and I'll show you how I do it on the other piece. That feels better. So it looks pretty good. Just got to clean up some of the coating around it. There you go. I got my line made. Got the fittings on. Remember, put your fittings on before you flare it. That's what I'm gonna do. This was not a cheap kit, but unfortunately, don't buy the cheap kit because it will not make a good flare. This kit is like $160, but I mean, it instantly does a perfect flare. So spend the money, get the right tool, don't mess with your brakes. So what I'm doing here, I'll tighten these down. So you put your line through, you tighten the 3 bolts down, and now you're looking at the line right here, and you want your line to end at that line. So you see where the pipe is inside. Not going to crank these down tight. Make sure they're tight. You don't want the line to push back through like I did before. And you take your wrench. It should be stiff to turn. If it's not, you're probably pushing the line back through. And there you have your flare. Do that to the other side, get this installed, and then we can put our Stoptech brake line in. Again, look through, brake lines up to the lines, thread in your other bolt. There it is. Let's get this installed. And there's one side installed. Let's take a look. Just one more clip to go in right here. You just slide this little piece in. The clip goes in front, pinches that in, and that's it. They look good. We'll get the other side in and wrap this up. Again, same thing over here. There's a brake clip, or a little U-clip piece that goes through here. A little clip goes down, holds this line in place. Just got to install those two clips and that's it. They look good, they last. Supposedly increase stiffness of the brakes. I mean, best cheap upgrade you can do whenever you got to replace your flex lines. Alright, lines installed. That's it for this video. Remember to drop a comment below, like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.